Once upon a time, in a small, peaceful village, nestled between rolling hills and green meadows, there lived a young shepherd boy. His days were spent guiding his flock of sheep across the lush pastures. As he sat upon a hill, watching his sheep graze peacefully, all was calm and serene. The wind whispered through the trees, and the sun shone brightly upon the land. But as the day wore on, the boy grew bored. The fields stretched out endlessly before him, and the quiet was beginning to feel dull. His sheep were content, but the boy longed for some excitement, something to break the monotony. He wished for a bit of fun, even if it meant making a little trouble. And so, with a mischievous grin, the boy decided to play a trick. He jumped to his feet and, with all his might, shouted, "Wolf, wolf." His voice echoed across the hills, reaching the village below. The people of the village, startled by the cry, began to run toward the meadow in a great hurry, their faces full of fear and worry. Soon, the villagers arrived, breathless and alarmed, holding their tools and weapons in hand, ready to defend the flock. But when they reached the meadow, there was no sign of any wolf. Only the boy stood there, laughing heartily at the sight of their panic. The villagers were not amused. With a shake of their heads, they returned to the village, shaking their fists at the boy, warning him not to cry wolf again. The boy, still chuckling to himself, watched as the villagers walked back to their homes. "What a fool I made of them," he thought, his laughter ringing in the air. But his sheep were still grazing, and the peace of the meadow returned, though not for long. As the hours passed, the sun climbed higher, and the boy again began to grow bored. His sheep were content, but the stillness of the day made him restless. He looked out across the meadow, his eyes scanning the horizon. "I wonder," he thought, "if I could make things a bit more exciting again." Without thinking twice, the boy again shouted, "Wolf! Wolf!" His voice rang out across the fields, louder this time, hoping to stir more excitement. Once again, the villagers heard his cries and began to rush out of the village. But this time, they were angrier, more determined to catch the wolf and save the sheep. The villagers arrived, panting with worry, only to find once again that there was no wolf. The boy stood there, laughing once more, enjoying the confusion he had caused. The villagers were not pleased this time. "You have deceived us twice, boy," they scolded as they turned to leave, their anger simmering. The boy simply watched them go, still chuckling under his breath. As the villagers walked away, their frustration grew. They spoke among themselves, vowing not to rush out again without proof. "We cannot trust this boy," one villager muttered. The boy remained on the hill, feeling a sense of triumph. But little did he know that his actions would soon come to haunt him. The day turned to dusk, and the skies began to darken. Thick clouds gathered, and a breeze stirred through the meadow, bringing with it the scent of rain. But the boy did not notice the change in the weather. He was still too wrapped up in his own amusement to notice the danger looming ahead. But then, just as the sun dipped lower in the sky, something caught the boy's eye. In the distance, a dark shape moved stealthily toward the flock. A shadow, lurking and hungry. It was the wolf, creeping closer to the sheep. The boy's heart raced as he realized the danger, but it was too late for simple tricks now. In a panic, the boy cried out, "Wolf! Wolf!" as loud as he could, his voice shaking with fear. This time, he was not laughing. The wolf was real, and the sheep were in danger. But would anyone come to his aid? But the villagers, having been deceived before, did not believe him. They remained in the village, dismissing the boy's cries as yet another joke. "He is playing tricks again," they said. "There is no wolf." And so they ignored his desperate pleas. Meanwhile, the wolf moved swiftly among the flock. The sheep panicked, bleating in terror as the beast tore into them. The boy watched helplessly, horrified by what he had caused. His prank had led to real harm, and he now understood the weight of his actions. The boy stood frozen, his eyes wide with fear and regret. He had played a game, and now the consequences were clear. The wolf was real, and the villagers would not come to help. He had cried wolf one too many times, and now it was too late. At last, when the wolf had taken its fill and disappeared into the woods, the villagers arrived, panting and tired. But they were too late. The damage had already been done. The sheep were scattered, some wounded, some missing. The boy's heart sank as he saw what his lies had brought. The villagers once again were furious. "You deceived us. You lied," they shouted, their faces red with anger. "Because of your lies, the sheep are hurt." The boy could not meet their gaze. He knew he had done wrong, and the weight of his mistake pressed heavily upon his shoulders. The boy's heart was heavy with regret. He had fooled the villagers twice before, and now, when he truly needed their help, they had not come. He understood now the importance of truth and trust. "I will never lie again," he whispered to himself, vowing never to deceive anyone again. The boy walked back to the village. Head bowed in shame, he apologized to the villagers, his voice full of sorrow. "I was wrong," he said, "and I am sorry. I will care for my sheep from now on, and never again will I cry wolf." The villagers, though still angry, nodded, knowing the boy had learned his lesson. From that day forward, the boy tended to his sheep with great care. The skies were clear, and the meadow was calm once more. The boy had learned the hard way that lies could lead to real harm, and from that day on, he never told another lie. The village was safe, and peace returned to the land, as the boy grew wiser with each passing day. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe our channel.